Richard R. Dick Bell, HDR, Omaha. Richard R. Bell grew up in Hecla, South Dakota, a community of 500 people. He describes his childhood as the perfect situation. Dick, his parents, and 3 brothers lived next door to his grandmother, and church was just a block away. Dick and his brothers all pursued engineering careers.
I really knew that my life was going to be as an engineer, so I moved as quickly as possible. I went to South Dakota State. I graduated in 4 years, got a master's degree in 1 year.
After graduation, Dick served his country for 4 years in the U.S. Army. In 1974, he considered 7 engineering firms in Kansas City and Omaha and landed a consulting engineer job with HDR in Omaha. Dick specialized in solid waste management projects, helping HDR become a leader in the waste-to-energy field. In 1990, HDR was owned by a French company that wanted to move the headquarters to Dallas. They talked them into staying in Omaha, but there were more challenges coming.
So I knew that they were going to sell us. And we knew that the day was coming sometime, we just didn't know when, but we had to be prepared. We were called down there on April 7th, 1995, and URS, which is a big competitor of ours, was there to make an offer to buy HDR.
In 1996, Dick led an employee buyback of the company, returning HDR to a 100% employee-owned firm.
Basically, the people marshaled behind it. We organized the company. The 40 investors that provide the seed money with Mike McCarthy allowed us to buy it back. We had 4 banks in the bank syndicate. We pulled it off at the right time at the right place because the amount of money that we put in this thing, it could not be financed today, in my opinion.
In 1996, HDR was a $150 million revenue business. Today it's a $2 billion revenue business. And building businesses has more impact on the community than anything we can do, and Dick certainly did that.
Dick Bell invested 36 years with HDR, rising to the top as chairman and CEO, a position he held for 26 years. Dick retired from HDR in 2011.
When we bought it back and kept it in Omaha, we fulfilled our dream. But, the truth is that Omaha's our base. But our operating philosophy is we're a national firm market from a strong local base. We are a marketing firm that happens to do architecture and engineering.
If the employees had failed to acquire HDR, it would likely have become a division of a much larger architectural or engineering company, and they would probably have the same number of employees with the same impact as they did in 1996. Instead, they become a leader in the community and an anchor for talent.
It's really what you want to attract to a community. Think about it. Think about the education they have. Think about the type of people that are really making a difference in our city, let alone all over the world.
Today, HDR is the largest 100% employee-owned engineering and architecture firm in the United States and the 7th largest employee-owned firm in America. With more than 10,000 employees, they have 200 offices around the globe and work in 40 countries.
We've done some great projects, unbelievable projects, like when 9/11 happened and the Pentagon was bombed. One of our projects was to retrofit the Pentagon wedges 2 through 5. We did the Hoover Dam Bypass Bridge project, which is an absolute landmark. And one other big project, we did a $3 billion hospital over in Abu Dhabi.
In addition to his business accomplishments, he has led numerous civic activities and has served on many boards. As a commissioner on the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission, he championed Venture Parks, expanding activities and amenities at several popular state parks.
I think what is very important is that we have to be competitive. And we chose Omaha, stayed in Omaha. We didn't go out and negotiate or play games or do any RFPs. We're still going to be here. But I really believe that the state of Nebraska has to have a competitive incentive packages to attract new businesses. And not passing it last year and having the year going out, I think could be a real impediment to our future.
His time and his talent has been brilliantly used in our state and in our city. And we can all be very thankful that Dick Bell moved from South Dakota to Omaha.
First of all, thank you for this honor. This is a big deal. I also want to thank Eric Keene and Rex Fisher for doing all the heavy work. We have our HDR table over here, and we have it filled up with the people that are very important to me. Very, very important. This was a team approach, and it wasn't easy. And just to start from the beginning, I believe in God, country, family, and HDR. Unfortunately, my wife would say, you kind of moved HDR up a little bit. This is my wife, Pat. We've grown up together. We enjoy the good life. She waited for me to graduate from college, and we traveled the world, but we really enjoy it. Tonight's a very important night for us. Our daughter, who is not with us tonight, is above the Arctic Circle in Denmark, in an ice hotel celebrating her 40th birthday. And Dad, being me, said, go to where you want to go. She felt that she should be here. I said, enjoy life, you only live it once. With us tonight is Rick, my son, with his wife Angela, the best thing that ever happened to him also, and my granddaughter, Nora. She's writing a project for school about her grandfather, and she wanted to know what this big deal was. So we have two other grandchildren, they're twins, and let me just say the little girl is an angel. The little boy, who's named Nolan Richard, has too much me in him. No problem. I want to thank Mike McCarthy more than anything. We had a plan. I had Frank Borkhardt, who nobody knows was my mentor at HDR. He worked with Mike McCarthy because when we were working for the French, I had a contract where I couldn't do anything. They didn't pay me anything, but they stopped me from doing anything. So we had to have an intermediary. He worked with Mike McCarthy, and we went back and forth, but without Mike McCarthy, this would not have happened. There's no doubt in my mind. We came up with the seed money, he came up with the money, but at the end, when we needed more money, I went to Mike McCarthy, and I took a big portion of the fund he has. So without a doubt, if you want an investment banker, he's the one that did it, and I absolutely trust him in everything we do. I also want to recognize the people of HDR. I'm accepting this honor on behalf of the 1,569 employees that we had when we closed the purchase of HDR on September 4th, 1996. But I'm under a time limit, but I want to get this thing in. The bottom line is that we had two groups, we had two circles. We had 5 people that worked on the acquisition with me. Roger Parkins was my human resources director. Merle Bachman, head of the architecture, was absolutely important. I had the best financial officer, and Terry Cox, and a person that's not with us tonight is Mary Weiss. Mike McCarthy really liked Mary Weiss because when she said something, it was done, and nobody argued with that. George Little, Eric Keene, Ken Haney, Dennis Hirschberger, they all wanted to be part of it, but I gave them instructions. The instructions was make sure this company operates on plan for 18 months so the banks would not have an excuse not to finance it. And they did absolutely a terrific job. There's nothing more that can be said. We had an understandable plan. It was simple. We wanted to get control of HDR as quickly as possible. We didn't want, everybody was going to have the same price for employee ownership, and we didn't want to pay too much to take it into the 21st century. I will tell you that we closed on September 4th, 1996. I went home and my wife asked me, what's the matter with you? Very honestly, I said this to her. I don't know what we did, but we did it. And her exact comment back to me, go back to work. So in closing, there's one other person that I want to mention. And then to the people of HDR, they've never heard me say this, but we had a guardian angel. When HDR was sold in 1983 to 1986, it could not have been a worse performance by anybody. They lost a lot of money. The French were very angry. There was a blind offer that was sent into them to buy back HDR at $15 million. They had paid $46.5 million and they weren't happy because they thought they had been had. But the bottom line, we focused, we worked, and we worked with Philippe Montaner. One of the first things he did when he came on board, he was with us for the last 10 years. He came on board, he evaluated the situation, he took us down to Austin, Texas, and fired 28 out of 32 managers. The next big crisis we had was we didn't have money for payroll on September 14th, 1987. He gave us the money. He told us that we were going to be sold, so I was prepared. And working with Mike McCarthy when we went down there, and we went around the table on the URS offer, and I said, it's not going to work. And his question to me was, well, what do you want me to do? I said, sell it to the employee owners of HDR. I told him what we would pay for it. And let me just tell you, there's a difference between value and price. And the price we paid was a good value. But these HDR people were part of it. At the last possible day, 2 weeks before we closed, Philippe Montaner met me down at the Harvey House in Dallas and said, after we were done negotiating, it was done, he said, you walked away from me, and then he came back, and he shook my hand, and he said, Dick, goodbye and good luck. I know in 2 weeks you own the company, and you will be successful. Let me just tell you tonight, the numbers are wrong on HDR. We're a $2.7 billion company. We have 240 offices, and Eric told me that the staff is going to be 10,800 probably by the end of the year. There's a lot of people that are going to bed tonight enjoy the employee ownership of HDR. Thank you very much for this honor.